Good morning, everyone. So we're underway again. We're in Dijon at the moment, and sorry we missed the tracker yesterday morning, but we were in the train, and I didn't. We got underway about 4:30 in the morning, and I planned to do it before we left, but it didn't happen. So, but we're back on track now. We're here to have the first public screening of the 2018 GGR documentary. And we're surrounded by lots of interesting adventures here at the Dijon Adventure Film Festival. Anyway, before we get into it, it's the weekend, so I'm going to show you a couple other things. In case you wanted to know where or how long the race has been underway, the clock now, counter there is talking about 40 days, 17 hours and 58 seconds. So the GGR has been underway. You can always see how long it's there. And some of you may not realise now that if you want to follow the race down here, okay, keep scrolling down, and we've got a very simple navigation process now. So here you've got the daily tracker file, okay, for all of the tracker files, the daily updates that I do, the GGR daily report, the entrant satellite phone calls, you can link from there, the live tracker, you've got all the entrant tweets here and the latest news. There are press releases that go out to subscribers. And this is a file of all the film drop lives that we did in Lanzarote, and that file will continue when we go to Cape Town, etc. And there's a bit of interest in the entrant boat tours. If you ever want to see if we're talking something about Abolish's boat or Damien's boat, you can get to the boat tours there and just show you how it works. I'm just going to click on that, and you'll see here's the file of all the daily tracker reports. So if you're here today and you want to go back and look at the history of the weather on that day, it's all there. So then you come back here, the daily reports. These are the written reports that Seb does. Okay, you've got a full archive there of the written reports in English and French. If you go onto the French version,
French version YouTube.
I'm not sure Jane's telling me something here, but no, this is the daily reports, the written reports.
Now is it?
Oh,
I read it and delay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, okay, so there's your daily reports there. And then if we come back again to that one, because that's on, come on, I'm waiting for it to come back to the page, because that's actually stored on the website. All the entrant satellite phone calls, if we hit that, come on, here we come. This is just brings you to the SoundClouds. So here we go. So you've got all the playlists there of all the various SoundClouds. Okay, so then I've got to come back to the site again. The tracker, you know what that is. The entrant tweets, you hit that, and you go straight to the Twitter site, and you can read off all the tweets there. On the tweets, they go up automatically on Twitter. Okay, we only condense them and put them up twice a day on to Facebook. So if you want to get Twitters earlier, you can go direct to there. The latest news, you hit that, and it's the file of all of the press releases and newsletters we just sent out. We sent out one on this week about the guys heading into the Southern Ocean. So that's there, and then the others are pretty straightforward as well. But I'll just go back. Come on, the internet's a bit slow here in the hotel. Okay, so so that's pretty straightforward. And then the other one that happens, so boat tours and film drop lives, you know, if you scroll down again, there's a featured video. This is actually meant to be Elliot's feature video, the onboard footage now. It's still as Simon, but that'll be there. And here, then you've got all of the entrant onboard video as we release it. There'll be another 5 next week. So if you hit on that, takes you straight to the YouTube file. And you've got all of the entrant onboard footage. So, and as we release more, that file will increase, so you can have a bit of fun getting to that. The other thing I'm going to show you, seeing it's the weekend and we've got a bit of extra time, when we get back here, come on, let's go. It's not coming back to the jeepers. Here we go. Okay, so we're back. If we go to the top of the page, you know we've got all these sections here. Obviously, that's pretty straightforward, but some of you may not have actually come down here and looked at a few things. We have a forum here, which you can look at and get involved with the conversation about various subjects if you're a fanatical GGR sailor follower. We've got the history of the race, the route, the rules, and so on. But this is an interesting one that some don't know about. GGR 2018. Now, there's a whole archive here of everything that happened in the race in 2018. And you might say, why do we want to go back and look at that? Well, I can show you. It's quite a bit of fun. There's a bit about the team there and some things are happening. But if you keep coming down, okay, you've got a complete timeline here of all the key events through the entire race. Okay, every time something happened in 2018, you'll find it here on this timeline, and you can hit read more and you'll get the whole lot. So if we mention something about Aberlich in the Southern Ocean and you want to know, what happened with him, you can go back and check out all the data, or something that happened to Loic Lepage, or wherever. The whole history is there. And even more interesting is down here you've got the 2018 tracker, right? And it's quite fun to watch what was happening. So if we because remembering I've showed you how to do the video replay, you can certainly see, and I'll show you how that works in a sec, but here on the leaderboard, you don't get the live leaderboards that's happening, but that's the finishing result. So you can see Jean-Luc came first, and then Mark Slatz and so on. So that's there, but you can actually replay the whole lot. Remember I said here, and you've got the whole history here. So this is the fleet of the boats. I'll just enlarge that. I'll enlarge that a little bit here, and you can rerun the entire 2018 GGR. Okay, so now you come down to the video replay, speed it up a bit. That's the speed that it happens is the top scale. And then when you're ready to play, first of all, you've got to rewind the race, right? So I'm now rewinding it right back to the beginning. So all the boats are now waiting in Les Sables d'Olonne here. And as soon as I hit play, the race is on. There they go, right? Now you can replay the whole race, okay, and you can enlarge it and so on. It's quite a lot of fun to look at what was happening back then. And when you compare the speeds in the last edition of the race, they were actually a hell of a lot faster than they are now. So as you may remember, that was Francesco just taking off. He left 3 weeks later. So you can have a bit of fun there, and it's just sort of kind of interesting. So again, I'll go back to the home page. We'll head to the tracker from this follow the GGR scale here. Hit that a couple of times. It'll take us to the tracker. Before we get into this, just remember on the top, if you haven't got the app on your phone, this little band here tells you exactly how to do it. You click on that. It says click here. There's a tutorial we did on how to simply put the app in your phone or a mobile device. Only takes a few minutes, and then you can follow it on your mobile wherever you are and become completely addicted if you're just watching this one. The other thing there is if you are watching it on your mobile, you're not going to get some of the fine detail and the extras that you get here. For instance, if we, I'll scale this back a bit, and maybe even one more. If we go to the weather, we get the windy weather on here, and the graphics are really quite interesting, and all the features aren't on the mobile device. You just get predict wind, which is little arrows. You don't get quite the graphic. The other thing is we have temperature here. Okay, I'll move the fleet over so you can see the temperature gradients. Up the top here, they're in the high 20s, low 30s, and it's starting to cool off as we get further down. In fact, I'll go right back to the scale and you'll see the info that's available. So that's on temperature. If you want to go pressure, these are the pressure gradients. There's not a lot happening in the trades in the middle here because it's soft, but you can see the barometric pressures are changing dramatically in the Southern Ocean. And when you scale it up to a close-in scale, it's quite interesting. Cloud cover. This is the whole satellite cloud thing. You can see there's not a lot of cloud. I need to build that up a bit. I'm just not trying to show you so much about what's happening in the fleet, but you can distinctly see where the cloud is. If you want to look at rain on the bottom, see if it's raining, if they're likely to catch any water. Anywhere you get the little blues, you've got potential for rain. Okay. You obviously know about wave height. We talk about that often. So, the blues are sort of 2 meters, 2 to 3 meters. Getting in the purple scales here is higher. All the scales on every piece of information are at the bottom of the map here. There's your scale guide along the bottom to show you actually what's happening. If you're in these colors, you're sort of 6 meters, 7 meters, and then we're back in the fleet, which is a lot less. So I'll come back up, and currents is always interesting. You can see in the fleet not a lot happening with currents, but over here, look at this. This is the Agulhas current here. You've got the Gulf Stream up here. It's interesting looking at this stuff. Even I often use this tracker map for doing other things when I'm measuring off things in the world or whatever. You don't have to just use it for for following the fleet. And I think that's a lot. Yeah, clouds, currents, waves, temperature. Yeah, so you can play around with all of them. But anyway, let's just get back into what we've got here, and we'll see what's going on with the fleet. I need to zoom in a bit, and all the details are up here. Or just to review, we can put the latitudes and longitudes in again now if you need that. You can increase and decrease the snail trail. You've got a very faint long snail trail that shows you the whole track. You've got a very detailed one going right back to the start. So you can do that. You can bring in the day-night. That's not the day-night. That's the different types of tracking. You can. I mean, not the tracking, the actual background map. But we'll leave it where it is. You can have a topographical map if you're over the land. You can have the satellite photograph as well. We just leave it on the ocean. But I was just saying, where's the here? There's the day situation. That's not quite right all the time because we're in daylight now. But that was 4 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, that's probably too much information. So I'll just get this back to a little medium track. Hang on, there it is. And we'll talk about what's going on. Is that big enough there? I'll get up one more because I want to show you what's happening with Simon. Simon's obviously very happy to have, it's a bit hard to see, but he's just, at 4 o'clock this morning UTC, he was actually doing 2.2 knots. Now, it was dark at 4 o'clock UTC this morning. As you know, he's going into the island to affect a job of climbing up the mast to drop another trace down or whatever and replace his broken Genoa halyard. I'm assuming he's got two, obviously, and he's been using that, but he needs to have the other one as a spare, and this will be the last chance he has for a long time to get some flat water. But he arrived in the dark, so he's obviously just going slow, heading to the east, heading up towards the island. There's still a bit of a moon late in the night, so he may have probably seen it, and it's going to cost him time. So if we look at the distance on Abelish, for instance, compared to where Simon is, I'll just boost this up. You can see there he was about 160 miles behind, and I'd say Simon's already lost about 20 miles. maybe a bit less than that, and it'll probably, Abelish and the rest of the fleet will probably take in total. He's probably going to lose out about 40 miles on this, so it's going to bunch the fleet up a bit, that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say in the classics. It's bad luck, but the others haven't broke halyards yet, touch wood, so they're making a gain. With solo sailing, it's all about trying not to make mistakes. When you make the mistakes, that's when others gain on you, so you handle your sails really carefully and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, the other interesting thing, of course, we'll get onto the weather in a minute, but he's going to sail into nothing. There's not much wind down there. So Abelish is still making good speed, 5.6, and Tapio's 6.5, so he's moving a bit quicker. And you can see there's variables in here. I can detect it. I'm assuming you can. It's a bit softer through here than it is right there, so there's a bit more breeze in the middle. Kirsten's doing 6.3. She'll be happy with that, but she's pointing higher than the others. She's getting across. She's got the ability to turn if she wants to. Pat's doing 6.1, so that whole group is lead group is going to bunch up a little bit more. We might as well talk about the weather that's facing these guys straight away, because we'll talk about the middle fleet in a minute. You can see here when Simon gets underway again, he's going to sail straight out into not much breeze, and then you've got a real mix. It's very hard to predict this. There's a lot of interaction with different systems when we look back to what's going on here. You've got a high pressure system here that's pushing up. You've got the trades come across. You've got a trough, well, not a trough, but you've got another sort of a bit of a high here that are bouncing into each other. So it's going to be very, very crazy in the next couple of days. If we come forward a day just to watch that, I don't want that one. You can see there's a bit of breeze turning up, but it's right on the nose again. And this is where it starts to get complicated. It's trying to get the best view here. We go through another day to the 17th. Breeze is back, but it's right where they want to go. I've got no idea what they're going to do other than keep sailing, and you're not going to be on starboard tack because you're going to be going up here. So I'm pretty certain they're going to come down here, and then when they get through, there's a bit of a high forming up here, and they're going to be on the wrong side. So that's only 2 days away, and 3 days out. Pretty much the same thing again. It's not strong winds, but I doubt whether they'd be trying to do anything other than get down here. And the distance of that is quite some way. If we just measure that off from Trinidad down to here, there's 800 miles. So they're only going to be at this point. So everything that we were predicting in the last few days is going to come true. Going to be very challenging, very demanding, and I'm not sure, how quickly they're going to get to Cape Town, but let's see. So just going back now to the other guys at the back, struggling with these trade winds that are turning a little bit too sharp because the guys on the west of the track have got to come around. Even still, Goog's talking about headwinds, Damien's a bit the same, but the winds here are showing it's definitely an east-southeasterly, okay, and that's not to windward. So this depiction here probably isn't true to what they're actually getting on the boats. Ayrton's managing to hold his course quite well and making 5.2 knots, so he's happy with that. And Ayrton doesn't go to windward. Not that, he does, the boat can, but he wants to stay comfortable. So maybe his depiction of the wind direction is correct, but these guys might be hooking up a bit more from this direction. Jeremy 4.1, and then Guy Waits talking about on his tweets is still going to windward, but there it looks like it's on, after the beam. So there's some local anomalies there. And Elliot is just maintaining speed. So at least he's making progress. He's on course. So and he's vegging out at the moment, so he's happy with that, just relaxing a bit. Nord 4.4, he's making a reasonable course, and poor old Ian now tailing Charlie, and not so happy. We had another big conversation on the phone last night. Pretty disappointed his position in the group, and talking to some of the other boats, and he's just feeling what's going on. He thinks it's him, and it's not. It's the weather. Obviously, the boat's not performing as well as some of the other boats up the top. It's a heavier version. He's really super well prepared, and I just keep telling him enjoy the ride. That's what it's all about. It's the GGR, and it's very psychologically demanding. As Ayrton will tell you, but he's happy now, and so nothing lasts forever. The race is a long, long way to go, and the serious challenge of the GGR is about to happen when these guys start heading south tactically, and also when you look at the weather, because you can see what's happening here. Boom, boom. These colours, these are all new. The fleet hasn't seen any of this stuff for a long, long